However, we do appreciate your participation when you're asked to participate. And I also want to let you know that a copy of the slide deck will be provided. So you will have these resources.
And Jennifer, I'm going to go ahead and add that to the chat room right now. I'm going to ask all of you, when you open it, if you could just make a copy for yourselves, and then you can utilize those resources.
Thank you. And I will let you with my partner, Michelle Mills.
Okay, so some of our, thank you, good afternoon. Nice to see all of you again. Today, our session outcomes, we're hoping for, we're gonna explore the language development strategy of observation charts. And this strategy engages students while facilitating academic oral language practice. And so we're going to provide you with some examples and resources to hopefully be able to apply it in your own classroom. As Mr. Castellano said, we are, this is a list of all of us English learner support teachers, and we are here to support students and teachers. So feel free to reach out to us at any time. You have our contacts in the slide deck. So as we begin talking about this language strategy, one of the most important things is this golden circle. You've heard of this before, Simon Sinek, and the golden circle is kind of basically, it's a concentric circle, and the order is often from the outside inward. We talk about first what educators do, and so this our job is to support both content and language development in tandem, and then maintain academic content rigor. And then how we do that as educators, there's collaboration. We all have a commitment to high quality implementation. All of these strategies that we're going to share today are research-based strategies from GLAD, and they are, we use high caliber educational practices. But the most important thing is that this should communicate is from the inside out is your why. And why to me is, I believe in the power of education can cross all socioeconomic levels and language proficiency. I think our why should be to spark passion and inspire curiosity in students. And myself, growing up as a military, they would say military brat, which was a phrase I never really liked, but I moved around a lot. And so I went to many different schools, and I feel like I have that in common with many of our students. But for me, school was safe and it was constant. And so sometimes school could be an escape from things that are going on in a student's family life. And therefore, my why is that I believe that these strategies can build confidence and successful relationships with our students. And when we start with the why, it shows that we understand and we value we value everybody's background and the assets that they bring to our classroom. I would like you to, if you would like to share in the chat or unmute, what is your why? Be thinking about what is your why? So today you could think about what is, why do we do the things that we do in our classrooms, and how we implement instruction and language content and language development while supporting our English learners. What is your why in your background?
We're having a couple of responses because our students need us.
Very much so. Yes, thank you. It might be unique for everyone. You know, everyone's background is different. access, just like I mentioned, yes. Access is a Y.
Michelle, I also have one, a desire to empower.
Awesome, thank you. Yes, I think as teachers, we all come with the desire to empower. I see, to provide a way for students to make something of themselves in the future. That's a beautiful why. I feel called to serve as a reflection of my faith. The key of teaching is a blessing. Those are beautiful whys. Thank you for sharing. And as we serve our English learners, we provide both integrated and designated ELD, and they work in tandem. So this is just a little refresher that these strategies that we're going to share today, or this strategy, excuse me, that we're going to share today is could be used in either integrated or designated ELD. So integrated, as a reminder, is the ELD standards throughout, integrated with the content standards throughout the day, and designated ELD is our protective time where we're focusing on building the into and from the content instruction. And hopefully you'll see that these strategy might be useful for that learning English as well. And the graphic that we chose, that our team chose, illustrates nicely the links between the California Common Core, the California ELD standards and the Common Core state standards and the national science standards. So today we're going to be modeling one strategy from Project GLAD. And this is actually one of my favorite strategies. It's a focus and motivation strategy. So the objectives of observation charts are intended to spark interest in our students and focus their students' attention on the academic content. They encourage participation and they allows us to assess their prior knowledge and build on that. This is just one way to perhaps launch a unit of study. And the words that we use when we launch these units can make all the difference in the world to a student. So we have on the slide deck some examples of words to encourage and the language that we might use and some of the frames. So I noticed that you blank, and this is a focus on the process. Okay, so we're acknowledging that, and this is building relationships with our students and the social SEL development. GLAD recognizes that language development is a dynamic process, so we need to be patient and provide scaffolds for our students and know where our students are. So we want to never underestimate the power of an encouraging word, and also to remember, as from Krashen's research, you might remember this from school, not to mistake the silent period that students may have for a lack of progress, because students need time to accept that input before they're producing language. So this strategy intentionally acknowledges what gifts, linguistic and cultural gifts that students bring with them, and primary language is welcomed in this strategy of observation charts.
Thank you, Michelle. So now I'm going to continue with the strategic design, which means it's your prep. And I do want to let you know that I'm going to briefly talk about what you would do in the classroom, but then we're going to move more into how can we do this in distance learning, because that's where we are right now. So the strategic design in the pictures that you see in this slide is how it would look in the classroom. As Michelle said, observation charts are best to launch a new unit of student. And for this, you would need to create, it says 6 to 8, but that applies for all grades. In all honesty, in a virtual setting for K and FIRST, I would say probably 2 to 3 charts would be enough. And you could create them in paper if you're in the classroom, but we're gonna work on digital today. And you would provide some space with online paper for the students to write, draw, sketch, or label. We want to encourage, always want to use authentic pictures. The pictures usually connect to a common theme or related to a concept. And we always provide sentence frames for students to articulate, for them to be able to articulate observations, questions, or predictions. Now, moving on into the distance learning suggested delivery, once you have created those charts, and we will look into that, this is how you would do it. And the first step is to introduce the learning and language target. And this in itself could be a little bit of a mini lesson, okay? So we want to have a learning target, what is the what? What are we going to learn? And the language target is how are we going to go about learning that? What will the students be doing? So we want to refer to our students with scholars, present the learning target. And because we're with little ones, you're going to say, read with me, and the teacher will read aloud. And then as we're reading it, we are going to identify and highlight important terms to really make sure that our students understand what it is that we're going to be learning about and how we're going to do it. So on the slide, we highlighted observation, sentence frames. So we want to make sure that we stop and really go over that vocabulary, even as we're just presenting the learning target and the language target. You're going to say it with me, observation. The kids would say it. And we would repeat the process for each of the key concepts so that students have clarity. This strategy follows the gradual release model, I do, we do, and you do. And this would be part of the I do. So the teacher is doing a lot of the talking. I do want to mention the learning target and the language target here is just an example. You would adjust those targets according to your grade level and unit of study and something that you feel makes sense for your students. Continuing with the delivery would be now the presentation of the observation chart. In a virtual setting, we would do this whole group in a live meeting or synchronous time. And when the teacher is presenting, the teacher is very deliberate about thinking out loud. So you would say something like, look at the pictures. What do you observe? What do you see? In providing that thinking time. Now, you as a teacher, especially for K and FIRST, we are going to model the use of the sentence frames. We are going to model the use of the academic vocabulary and descriptive language. And then we're going to begin to invite the students to speak. You can use say it with me if the students are having difficulty. So let's say you call on somebody, you hear nothing, and you can say, it's okay, say it with me. I see a bird with beautiful colored feathers, or whatever that might be. Primary language is welcomed. If we were in the classroom, all sketches and drawings are also welcome. However, right now, because we're doing it virtual, we're going to focus more on the oral practice. We could also provide some group collaboration with this. However, I think this would be more appropriate for 3rd to 5th grade because we would be using breakout rooms and students would have to be able to have 2 windows open, one with the observation chart and another one with their Zoom. And I understand that that could be complicated for little ones, but how to do it is also included here in the slide deck. And then we would go into the independent practice. So for K FIRST, what I'm thinking would make sense would be do the synchronous whole group all together, the teacher models, the teacher invites, say it with me, and then provide an independent practice or a synchronous activity using Seesaw. And the steps to do that, we will go over it right in a second, would be to insert the observation chart as an assignment The teacher will model the directions and the say it with me, including the sentence frames, using the recording option. So the teacher is providing audio, and then we're going to ask the students to record themselves or draw or sketch. If that's, you can also do that in Seesaw, or even write if you're, maybe some of the first graders might be there or not. You would be the one gauging and assessing that. But specifically, I want to invite us to use the audio option in Seesaw to provide directions to the students, to provide them with examples, and then to invite them to do themselves and give us a recording so they can have some oral practice. I have Michelle. So we'll leave the questions at the end because we do have a lot of content. I saw my little icon for questions and answers, but we will continue if that's okay.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jennifer. So I would like to model how we use the observation strategy with students. And if you click on grade 1 on your grade level, I know some of you are kindergarten, but we're going to model grade 1 for today. And then Jennifer will share some more examples that are very specific.
So it's loading.
So it's loading. So
okay.
Go ahead. As Jennifer noted, the first thing we start with is introducing our learning target with our students. So we would be saying, you know, hello scholars or hello scientists. And you can see now this is a little more specific learning target. Today, we're going to make observations, questions, and predictions about body parts that animals have that help them survive. And you would have students say it with you. Say it with me. And then when we talk about we're going to make observations, you know, it's kinder first grade, you want to make it a lot of visuals, even if we're in the distance learning environment for them. The language target is also, we're going to introduce, and today we're going to use sentence frames to actively participate while listening, speaking, and writing about body parts that animals have that help them survive. So once the learning and language targets are introduced, we present the observation chart. And this would be a deliberate think aloud, right? So we are going to tell the students, ask the students to look at the pictures, okay? And think about what body parts these animals have that help them survive. What do you see or observe? Okay, I see a baby polar bear with his mom. Let's see, Angelique, would you like to share? What do you observe or see? If you're able to unmute and share, if not, I can call on, let me see somebody I can see, maybe Kathy. What do you see or observe?
It's Kathy Riley, this one?
Yes.
I see 2 lions looking far in the distance at the clouds, and I'm wondering about the weather there.
Thank you. How about Stephanie? What do you observe in the pictures?
I see a mom and dad lion in a rainstorm.
Ooh, yes, thank you. How about Carrie? What do you see or observe?
I see a polar bear with her baby.
Thank you. Okay, so the academic discourse begins while setting the stage for learning. You're modeling and then calling on participants to share out and acknowledging their language, whether it's in their first language or not. You could also at another, not in this slide, but you can see in the box down here, we have where the teacher could type the student's dictation. And we're using these sentence frames for support. So you might say, I heard a lot of students share with C, and so then I might model, I wonder what the animal is with the yellow spiky fur. Okay, so you might have some modeling some predictions. Excuse me, some questions, and then move on to predictions. So you would use this slide, and each of the slides that we have designed for the strategy and the observation chart, this is one chart, has the learning and language learning target right here, and then our sentence frames for the language target for students.
And I would like to add that it would be the same if you're doing SLD. You would say, yo observo, yo noto, yo veo. And then if you're doing your English, and let's say that the kids are saying, pues, eso es un camello. And you would say, oh, camello. Oh, that sounds like a cognate. We say it camel in English. So you would welcome every oral participation that the student has, especially with kinder and first. And it's just, remember that we are not expecting the students to just have fantastic sentence frames, but it's an opportunity to build background and to allow them to have some type of oral practice. So that is the goal of this strategy. And
thank you.
So in the slide deck, you already have this. You're going to have all of these observation charts. All of these belong into animals and animal parts. So all of these are right here for you and ready for you to use them. So the team did a great job and they're beautiful.
Yes, and the pictures are really helpful for the real life pictures, right? That's part of the strategy, is to access prior knowledge and then engage them in the content. And I think the live pictures make it more meaningful. And you can see that it's going to be a little bit student-led, you know, with your participation, with your participants. And you can also use it as a formative assessment, the observation charts, to know their background knowledge and where you need to go with your instruction. So we wanted to provide you with, we hope this strategy helps you bridge and build language in your classroom, but we also wanted to provide you with some asynchronous learning activities for this distance learning environment that go along with the observation charts. So Jennifer is going to share.
So right here in this one, you have those two activities. They're actually a link. One is a seesaw activity and the other one is a video that you can incorporate. Let me go this. Okay. Can you see it nicely? Can you give me thumbs up? Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna continue now with, when we were looking as far as doing K-1, the deck slide originally only has first grade to fifth grade, but we wanted to provide our kinder teachers with resources as well. So I started looking at the curriculum maps, and then I found a couple of common themes. And then this next part is about that. So like we said, observation charts are best to launch a unit. For K-1, you may want to begin with observation charts on a social or familiar topic. If you feel that the animal part they may be lacking a lot of language and it might be hard for them to really participate. And if your kids are not there yet, then start with a social topic or something that's familiar. For example, healthy foods, pets, school, favorite games, etc. Now, going back into the curriculum maps that I was talking, I noticed that there's at least three common themes that K and first grade share. One of them would be wonders of nature, and then for first grade, surviving in nature, and then our neighborhood and the people that work here, and USA symbols. That's based on the curriculum maps. You could use the templates that we are providing you as part of this presentation, and then just create whatever is best for your grade level or for your team. Divide and conquer. And so these charts that I'm showing you, we were thinking that would be more appropriate for kindergarten. So we changed the directions. Instead of, we said, think about what you see, what do you think we're going to learn about? And then the teacher will begin, well, I see one of my favorite fruits. And you start describing, what do you see? And remember to use the say it with me. So you model and then the kids say it. Say it with me. That's a spiky pineapple. Say it with me, spiky pineapple, and so on. So you have this one for healthy eating and fruits. You have this one that goes over our neighborhood. So this is Oxnard, where you guys can talk in what's going on in the community, where you live, or whatever is appropriate for your kindergarten theme. So you have this one already. And then you have one on USA symbols, the Statue of Liberty. So these resources are for you. And then we want to move on into the asynchronous work and how we can continue to use observation charts with Seesaw. So this part on the bottom, the one that says Mrs. Takayama, is just so you could see some of the directions that she's providing. She's including text, again, whatever it's more appropriate for you. But I did create an assignment on Seesaw, and it's gonna load right now. So when you click on the link on the presentation, it's gonna take you to the activity, and you can just save it into your Seesaw library and you can have it and use it. Now, I really wanna highlight here the use of the audio. So I'm gonna try to play it. Give me thumbs up if it actually works, but this is how you would do it with our younger students. Tap on add a response. Look at the pictures and think about what you see. What do you observe? What do you wonder? Use the microphone to tell me about the photos you see. You can use these sentence frames to help you. I like the I see with I observe I wonder So I want you to notice that I'm actually providing them the sentence frames. What is it that I want them to say? And then you could definitely add the drawing. Maybe some kids will want to make a sketch or type a word either in their native language or in English, whatever you feel comfortable. But using the recording tool in Seesaw will really allow us to provide that practice for our students. So that's what I really wanted to highlight. I also included some examples in these. They seem like they're a little bit more advanced, but maybe by the end of first grade, this is something that we can expect from our students. I just wanted to show you that it can be done and it's really cute.
I observe 3 raccoons hugging each other. I wonder what they are doing. I predict they are hunting.
So that's the example of the student. I have another one with raccoons. And these are Seesaw responses.
I see 3 raccoons together. I wonder if they're nice. I predict they live in a forest.
So in this one, the teacher, I'm not sure if the teacher, if they work on the sentences before and then they added them, or they added the labels, or if the students themselves had the option to add the text if your students are there. But if not, they can definitely share their audio and in their drawings and sketches. And then there's this one more with butterflies.
I observe a butterfly. It is black and yellow. I wonder what is in that egg. I think it is a slimy snail. Thank you.
So those are the student examples. We just wanted to provide it for you. And then Michelle, do you want to take questions now before we go into the last words?
Sure.
Yeah.
I also wanted to apologize. I skipped a little ahead. So the first three examples that Jennifer shared were kind of common themes in K-1, the three sides of the fruits and the community in their community in Oxnard the pictures, and then the USA symbols. So those would be the asynchronous, I keep saying that, the synchronous activities, the slides, and then the part that Jennifer just shared was adding the in Seesaw, how you could apply it so they could potentially record their participation. So I just want to correct myself there, and then also remind you of the say it with me and repeating the students' responses also validates their idea and their contribution. So thank you for those of you who shared on my example.
And I do want to mention that the same observation chart that you're going to use in your live session is the same observation chart that you're going to be inserting into Seesaw, so the kids can continue with that practice. So don't drop something like that you have never really developed and worked with the kids. So we want to make sure that they are familiar with using the sentence frame, that maybe we have used some of the vocabulary that they'll be seeing in the pictures, so they also feel successful doing that. And questions and comments before we go into the final words.
Let me see if there's any in the chat.
You're welcome to unmute yourself if you have any question in regard to the strategy itself. No. Clear as mud. Okay. So we're gonna continue. Go ahead, Michelle.
So today we opened with
Kathy,
the
did you
quote.
have a question?
Thank you.
So I was just thinking, so in our each unit has the big book, the yellow big books, and then we'll have a unit opener. So you're talking about unit openers. We have the picture of each week of the opener for the week. So I'm just thinking, is this something we could kind of using these strategies within, here's your picture, your essential question and all that, and just integrate some of this into that. I think that might, I'm just thinking in my mind that might work.
Yeah. I mean, definitely however you can implement the strategy. When we're in the classroom, sometimes they do it with loose picture file cards, and that could be appropriate too. So now you have ideas on what things you could do for your ELD or to support your English learners. So yeah, for sure. Any other question? Okay.
Okay, so we opened today with a quote from Valentino Gonzalez, and this is this is a thought, an analogy that we really think provides a good picture of why these observation charts can be a great strategy for our students. So she starts, have you ever baked cookies in the oven without preheating the oven first and expected them to be finished within the same time the directions said? Do you remember how they came out? I've done this before because I was too impatient to wait for the oven to preheat. My cookies were raw, not finished, mushy. If I wanted them to taste right, they would need to stay in the oven longer.
I would like to argue that when we don't build background for students, we are essentially doing the same thing. Building background is like preheating the oven. It prepares the brain for the new learning that is going to take place. When we preheat or build background, we are prepared to receive more information more readily. If we skip this essential step, we are risking that it will take longer for students to comprehend and the new learning may not stick. So we just wanted to provide you with this very short comparison and just to remind ourselves that the time that we spend on building that background knowledge, providing them with the language and all of that input, it really pays off. And we know, you know, that our students really need that. So let's preheat our ovens with our students. This actually concludes the presentation of today. So is there any other question that you would like to ask before we finish? You have access to the slide and everything that you saw. All of the observation charts for first grade and for kinder are included here. Please reach out to any of your ELSLT teachers at your site. All of them are able to help you with it, with GLAD strategies, or specifically with this one with observation charts. And may you be proud of the work you do, the person you are, and the difference you make. And we want to thank you so much for being with us today on a Friday. Maybe your family is already having or planning to have some type of Halloween celebration. May you have, oh, I see your chat is flashing. I wonder if we have, okay, just thank yous, no question. Okay, and yeah, have a fun and safe weekend. And Michelle, anything else you would like to add?
Yes, thank you very much for your participation. And if you have any particular questions, we'll be here for a few minutes to answer them for you if you wanted to stay on the chat. Thank you so much.
Great. Well, I'd like to thank Jennifer and Michelle and all of our English Learner Support teachers, for developing this presentation. This is going to be the first in a series, so we'll be coming back with another GLAD strategy to share with you. So I hope you enjoy this. Please have a safe weekend, and we will see you soon. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Have a nice weekend. Thank you so much.